Life is an adventure anywhere we are, and no season that we enter could ever be too hard. So let's run away to faraway places, escape from this life we have known. Your eyes are new worlds to discover. Your heart is the place I call home. Whoa.
Welcome, y'all.
Welcome, y'all.
I was just watching a video, a couple videos of those Southerners, and it catches on.
So, what are we here for?
Well, we are living in a heat wave.
Yep, it's probably a lot of your RVers who get stuck in a heat wave, at least full timers, and we've had our extremes this year. Yes,
we came here 4 days ago. The day we traveled, it was
115.
So
the day we got here,
yes,
118.
Yeah, when we got here. Yeah,
the day after. Yeah, the day after.
Day after. So we have some hints, tips, and tricks, I think, that we have learned with extreme weather.
With this last February, where were we at?
We were in Lake Medina, Texas.
In Texas.
We did the Snowmageddon. If you didn't see that video,
it got down to 4 degrees in Texas.
I'm going to link it up here. RV cold weather tips. What are yours?
RV cold weather, like I said before, don't go where it's cold.
Okay.
That's number one,
That's
right?
one.
So we went from 4 degrees in February to 118.
Yeah, and as full-time RVers, we're chasing 70.
We lost it somewhere. Somewhere in Utah, we lost it.
We've heard that from so many people. So, our first tip or hint or trick that I think we learned this last week is, if at all possible, don't travel on a super hot day, because when we arrived at the RV park here, we only got 30 amp, and we were not able, our RV was not able to recover. And so the coolest that it got in the RV during the day,
during the day was 102 or something.
Yeah, it was unbearable.
We finally, overnight, we got it down to 89 or 88.
Yeah. And the second day it did better. By the third day, we were able to move to a 50 amp. And we've done pretty well. It's maintained pretty good because we could run both ACs. And so anyway, that's our first tip. If at all possible, don't travel on a super hot day, because your RV, it's a tin can rolling down the road.
Well, yeah, so basically it's just, we left it early morning, so we
did.
But then we were traveling in the heat of the sun, and it was great solar, but didn't really need it. But unfortunately, the campground here is probably 3/4 30 amp and a 1/4 50 amp, and there's not a lot of shade. So anyway, we did our best, but there's some other tricks that we did that we probably should have done, because we've been carrying this stuff around for 2 years. And what is that?
Well, I'm gonna go run and get it. I should have brought it down, because most of you know my what?
Command strips.
Yeah. So keep talking there, Greg.
In this crazy life that we live, we travel as a friend, so it's something I tip to with traveling. Very important to have a tire monitor, tire pressure monitoring system that does temperature as well, because I found my front tire was running about 30 degrees warmer when we were going through towns, and come to find out I'm going to replace it, but the brake line is a little plugged, so it's not going to allow the pressure to back up, kind of natural suction to pull that caliper back off, so the pad's not just barely rubbing when you're on and off the brakes a lot, like going through towns and stuff like that, city driving. So I got to replace that, because all the other wheels were fine. They got up to like 118. Of course it was 100. Day we traveled was like 108 to 109 until we got here. It was hotter now, but that tire was up to 145.
But I was thankful that we were able to monitor it, because we were worried about our tires.
Yeah, as soon as I got on the highway where I wasn't using my
Sorry.
brakes and stuff like that, that tire went right in line with all the other tires. Yeah, but that way you can monitor your trailer tires.
Yeah.
Make sure one side or one tire's not getting hotter than the other, something going wrong, because it's the heat on one tire gets crazy, that can lead to a blowout. Yeah. And the last thing you want, anytime you want a blowout,
gosh, in the heat,
would be in the heat.
imagine?
I mean, if you're going to have a blowout, it'd be best not to have it.
That'd be miserable.
With extreme. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's a good tip to have if you can afford it. If you have questions about some different what we have, just leave us a comment. We'll direct you with where we got it and what we have.
Yeah.
We're really happy with it. So
tip number 3. Once again, command strips.
And these are the ones that are
These
Velcro.
are the picture. Yes, the picture hanging ones, kind of the Velcro large ones. This is what we've used. And for those of you that don't know about REFLECTIX, it is an RVer's, I think, one of their best tools. Like Greg said, we've been carrying around a roll of it.
Well, the one that we carry around is not just this, it's
the longer.
It's a longer 24 inch.
24 inch. This is the 16 by 25 feet, and we got it at Home Depot. It was $17 and something, almost $18. So
for this roll,
yeah, for this roll. The other rolls are 24 inch by 25 feet.
There's 25 and there's 10. It depends on what they have.
Oh, 10 feet. That's what we got. And they were $11, almost $12. So not super expensive, but I finally caved. With the weather the way it's been, I hate the shades being closed. Greg and I, we don't battle, but we, yeah. So
she doesn't like living in a cave.
No, I hate living in a dark cave.
When it was 115.
A dark cave feels much better than than it being all sunny. So we did put it in a few of our windows. We need to do more, but one of the best places that it helped the most was in our skylight. Thank you. Skylight in our shower, because that is like a beacon. I tell you, beacon. Yeah. It just
our bathroom
heats up that bathroom.
Main bathroom just gets so hot.
So what we did is we just Velcroed it. Maybe I'll take a video and just show you. I mean, we aren't professionals at this, and we probably could have got it so it's totally
tight,
light-proof. But I don't care. It's helping.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we just put it on our windows that really get full sun.
Well, we did most of them, and we're going to do the rest. And what you can do is basically, you leave one side of this, and it'll be under the curtain, so you don't see them.
Yeah, you don't see them.
But what I suggest is basically when you do these, just write down on the back side, the side that'll be the interior, which window it is.
Yeah.
And then that way, when you don't need them, because you can use them in the wintertime too. They'll actually help insulate in the wintertime too, but they really do a good job with the reflective to reflect the sun off. But basically you just pull them off, and you can roll them up or whatever, and store them underneath or under a bed or wherever. So that's what we're planning is.
And I always thought that it just like blocked the sun, but Carolyn, our friends that had caravaned with us here from Diary of a Family, she said you can tell a difference if you put your hand up to one of the windows.
Well, it's
that has
R21.
This. Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? So it is really good stuff. And like I said, I caved. We got more because we need to put it in our
skylights.
The skylights, but the cabinets that are over the couches, because those get sun, and we have some.
Our snacks are up there and they're kind of warm.
Yeah. Oh, and what's funny is in our bathroom, because, you know, we get sun on this wall right here. I went to use some of my makeup, and it was
Liquefied?
It was liquefied, my my Vaseline type stuff, and so it was like, oh, and then this morning I went to get the butter out, and this is interior in our pantry.
Yeah, it doesn't have an exterior wall.
I lifted the lid off the butter dish thing, and the butter goes bloop, and it had all melted. I was glad that it sealed it up in there, otherwise I would have had it all over the cabinet. But even though it's been pretty cool in there, and it's down in the 70s, I'm surprised it was still melted.
Well, once it gets that hot as it was,
oh my gosh,
melts everything, and it doesn't come back unless it's real cold.
So chasing 70 is ideal, but you know what? It's not realistic.
No. But the biggest thing is, I mean, you got to keep the windows, of course, closed, the vents closed, whatever. I mean, you can use your vents when you're first starting to try to get the heat, you know, sucking the heat out the top while you're trying to cool the RV down. But then it kind of gets to a point where you need to close them off and then just go straight AC. Yeah. We actually, because the way our system's set up is our main AC is plumbed throughout. Of course, we have it on, but then we have a second one that's just basically over the bedroom area, and so it's a small area to cool.
It's not ducted.
It's not ducted, but we'll set that where it's cold in there, and then we put a fan up on the dresser, blowing into the main living area, so that kind of help pull some of that cold air into that, you know,
when we can run both of them.
So that helps when we're on 50 amp.
Yeah.
We found with the problem is with 30 amp, we got soft starts on them, so like that, and we can run them just fine. But we have a residential fridge, and it seemed like no matter how little of anything else we had on, you know, we turned the hot water heat tank off, we turned off everything, but it seemed like when that hot water or the fridge would cycle on, the inverter would try to pull just too, even though I had it down, it would try to pull too much and it would pop the breaker every time.
Yep. Yeah.
So I just got tired of that and just ran the one AC because it just wasn't working. You know, instead of, you know, we can run two because it would just take off our batteries.
I was just going to
ask that. Since our 50 amp, just plug it into 50. We haven't.
That's the way to go, people.
We can just run whatever. So just try to find 50 amp. You've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, the heat's just going to be for 1, 2, 3, 5 days, whatever. You know, pay for a week of camping.
Yeah.
You know, and just to have that for your emergency fund, what are we going to do to get it?
Because when it's 118 degrees, nothing is comfortable. When we were with Garrett and Carolyn here, the kids would walk around going, "We're in a furnace."
Yeah.
And that's what it
even
felt
at night, they couldn't go to. They could never get theirs down.
Yeah, because they were on a 30 amp
as well. So it's just anyway. Just to give you a heads up. Some of you haven't experienced the extremes. You know, you get up into the 90s and your ACs can still handle it.
Yeah.
Typically you can get it down, 20 degrees colder than what's outside. But when it's 118, you're struggling.
And how cool at night?
It got 90? Down 89? The coldest it got was in the 80s. And that was at 4 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
So, we were up till 1 o'clock in the morning just sitting with fans on, just trying to, sit and sweat. But now it's getting into the 70s. So
I think one of the biggest things is, especially when you full-time RV, when you just go on the weekends or you go on your vacations, you can pack for where you're going. But when you full-time RV, we talked about this in our winter video, the Snowmageddon video. Just be prepared.
Maybe she'll link it.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll link it. I'll link it for you because you need to go back and watch that one. It was a fun video.
Yeah.
But you got to be prepared. And we had all our snow gear, and we were so glad we did. And Greg was on top of things, making sure that we didn't freeze pipes and all that. But in the heat too, of course you're going to have your summer wear, but you also need to make sure you have fans. You have, all of that.
You need to have your fans.
Your
and if you go ahead and do all your windows, you have it prepped with this. When it's not 115 out there, that way you can do it when it's not 100 degrees in your trailer, and get everything cut and labeled and all that stuff. So that way, when it is hot like that and you stop and you get there, you can just grab this and throw it, just stick it up there real quick. You don't have to be trying to cut and do all that stuff like we were or she was. You know, with extremes come extreme holidays, where the campgrounds can be extremely full.
Yeah.
So just, you know, try to enjoy it best you can, keep it cool.
And still be kind, and still be friendly. I mean, we pulled up.
Go boondock out in the middle of nowhere.
That's true.
But even those, there's going to be more people in those than normal too. So we just try to enjoy what we can and have an opportunity to meet more people.
Oh yeah, we pulled up last night. We got back from having dinner with the kids, and a guy walks by, and we just chatted up quite a bit.
Yep.
Nice guy. So anyway, if we hope you get some value out of this. If you did, give us a thumbs up.
Yep. And you guys have other tricks that you've learned to try to help cool off the trailer. And
oh, another one. I just thought of it. I don't know if it worked or not, but I know that it didn't hurt. When we got here, I hooked up our extra hose, and I sprayed off the rig because the water was cold coming out of there. And I sprayed the roof, and I sprayed the whole thing, and I think it helped a little bit just to get the road heat off of it, I guess. I did it 2 or 3 times that first day, especially, and I think I did it the second day too. So that's another tip. You know, when we first pulled up the RV beside us, they had a sprinkler on top of theirs. So not all parks are going to let you do that. Crescent Bar is pretty liberal with their water. But anyway, that was another tip.
Yep. And have plenty of cold beverages.
Yes.
Lots of water.
Yeah. Drink lots of water because you're going to sweat. You're going to...
Oh, the other thing we did too, that we used to always do is have a cooler with some ice water in it.
Oh, yes.
And some of the no lint type towels, whatever we call those. But anyway, microfiber. Thank you. But we'd put them in there in that ice water and got them cold, so then just wring them out and put them over your head, around your neck. You know, might look like an idiot, but I tell you what,
it cools you off.
That feels good, and then have a fan going on.
Actually, I was going to have those on us as we were sitting here.
Yeah, we probably should have. But anyway, yeah, we use them quite a bit.
The first few days.
Anyway, but there's no reason not to have those handy.
Yeah, and then if you're by water, of course, we went and swam in the river, and it was so nice and cool. It felt so good. Just really helped cool you off. So
you know, and on kind of a serious note, so like that is some of you guys know I've got heart condition, and so I got heart failure. So I've got to really be careful and conscious of in the heat, as other people that have similar conditions, so like that. Just need to be aware of your health and how your body's reacting to the heat.
Yeah.
But the key is drinking plenty of fluids, for everyone. But if you're with somebody that they have a heart condition or something like that, or some health issue that gets complicated because of heat, be aware with them. Get them some shade every so often. Make sure they stay cooled down. Don't let them overdo it.
Yeah.
Because if they get to the point where they've overdone it, it's going to be harder for them to recoup than the normal person. So anyway, just kind of a side note there, that if you're with people traveling, be aware of them too, and be conscious of that, and encourage them to stop often, cool off often, whatever they need to do. Don't let them overexert themselves to keep up with you young pups or your healthy pups or whatever. But just look out for each other. You see people broken down or need some help, so like that, do what you can. Help each other out in the community, so like that, whether it's extreme heat or extreme cold. Let's just, like you said, be kind to one another, and make it a better place for everybody.
That's right.
So with that,
every day's a gift.
So don't count the days, even the hot ones, but make the days count. We'll see you soon.
So let's run away to faraway places, escape from this life we have known. Your eyes are new worlds to discover. Your heart is the place I call home. Whoa.